Make is a platform that allows us to connect applications together and to retrieve data from one application to be able to use its other application. It allows us to imagine a process on how we want to be able to perform multiple tasks and to design a system, a scenario that will take on those tasks for us whenever it's possible. So in the example that we're going to look at here with Make, we are going to look at how we could, in this example here, sort, classified those different emails. So here we have 3 emails sent by parents, 1 email sent by a faculty, and 1 email sent by someone outside our school community. We have here a spreadsheet with the name of the faculty, the name of the parents. So this spreadsheet is a Google Sheet. It can be created from an extraction from your school management system, or you could also, based on your school management system, create um, a bridge that will allow this spreadsheet to be automatically updated if there is any new parent or any new faculty. But here we're going to look at 4 different uh, user, 1 faculty, and 3 parents. What we're going to try to do from here is to add a label on those email whenever the email is sent from a faculty, whenever the email is sent from a parent. And then for the email sent from parents, we will create a summary and some bullet points to see which action we can take from this email or we should take from this email, and if there is any recommendation to answer the email. So it's really to test here the capabilities of AI when integrated in a workflow that we are about to design here. This summary and bullet point, etc., will be sent automatically in a space, so a Google space. If you're using Google Workspace, you have the email, but you have also the chat here. And in the chat, you can create some space that can be shared with other members. So let's say here, this space will be created for me and for my assistant principal. So any sensitive emails sent from parents, we will have some guideline on how to address it, for example. So here it's a pure example. I don't necessarily recommend to do that, but it's to test the capabilities here of the system here. So the summary will be sent directly to my space here that I call training center. And I will add also a task, for example, saying answer the parent email, for example, here, just to see a bit all the different action that can be created through this workflow here. So let's go back to Make here, and we're going to create a scenario. I'm going to give a name to the scenario. So let's say that is training center email workflow. The first thing I'm going to do is to ask to Make to start the process. So let's try here. So in Make, we have many different applications that can be used. So thousands and thousands of applications. The first one is the trigger one, the one that will start the process here that we're going to create. So I'm going to start with Gmail because I want to be able to identify in my emails those emails sent by parents or by faculty. And so here the trigger is watch email. I'm going to select my test Gmail account. I'm going to look at email in the inbox. And I'm going to look at all the emails, meaning that if I already read an email that has not been yet processed by my scenario here, my scenario will still process the email. If I would select only unread emails, the scenario will only look at the unread email. So here, for this example here, I'm going to do that. And the maximum numbers of results is the maximum numbers of emails that I want the scenario to be able to watch. If I put 20, what will happen is Gmail will um, uh, inform Make about the 20 email in the inbox, the 21st email. And if I have 45 email, what would happen is after processing those 20 email. It will wait 15 minutes and process 20 more, and wait 15 minutes and process 5 more. I can change this. I can decide to do it every 10 minutes, 25 minutes, 1 minute, 24 hours, etc. So in this example here, it doesn't really matter. We have 5 emails to look at. I'm going to look at 20 email, even though there is only 5, and it will process every 15 minutes. Now, the next step here is to be able to identify the sender of those emails and to see if the senders of those emails are in our spreadsheet here. So I'm going to connect now a second application, which is going to be Google Sheet, because my information is on the Google Sheet. And I'm going to search a row. I'm going to select my test account. I'm going to select the spreadsheet, which is named email list, and it's the sheet number 1. So this one here, sheet number 1, email list. Now I need to create a filter. I only want to process the email for which the sender is listed in my spreadsheet, either a faculty or a parent. So I'm going to say that I want him to look at the name, for example. It's often better to use the email, but the email that I've generated are not sent from a real address email. So I'm going to select the name here. And the name in the spreadsheet need to be equal to the sender name here. So in this example here, anytime this module here will watch emails sent by a sender where the sender name is listed in the column A, then this email will be processed. Now, the next step here is there is 2 possibilities. It's either a parent or it's a faculty. So I need to create a router. This router here is going to open 2 branches. The first branch is going to look at the email sent by faculty. So I need to create a filter, and I'm going to call this filter faculty. And the condition here is that the group, which is here, the group is equal to faculty. And here we need to use exactly this one here. This is the group name here. So now here, if the group of the email is listed as faculty in the column C, then this email will be processed for the next step. And the next step here is to add a label faculty to the email. So modify email labels. And the label to add is faculty. Now, very important, I need to tell make sure to add the label to the email, to one of the 20 emails that you look at. So now, which one is the one that have the Gmail message ID that we have retrieved at the beginning here, and the Gmail message ID is here. So now, if the Gmail with a message ID when going through the spreadsheets is identified as being sent by a faculty, then it will add the workshop, the label workshop / faculty. Now the other one here is the email sent by parent. So I'm going to select parents. The condition here will be that the group is parent, as listed here, parent. And so all the email identified as being sent by a parent will be processed to the next step, which is again Gmail, modify label. We need to make sure to select the Gmail message ID so Gmail knows to which email we need to add the label parent. So now here we have this first process here that will identify emails sent from parent or from faculty, and we add a label. Now, the next step here is specifically for the parents. What we want to do here is we want to be able to create a summary from the email sent by the parents and few bullet points to help us to deal with to address this email. So the next module here that I'm going to add, I'm going to use the module offered by OpenAI here, and I'm going to create a completion. So you can see there is many different actions we're going to have, but I'm going to create a completion here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the ChatGPT 4. Well, I want to create a chat completion, and I'm going to add it's an assistant that I want. And here I'm going to add a message. So I'm going to, the message I'm going to say is, for example, here, you are a principal assistant specialized in communication. So you're going to summarize the email sent by the parents. Generate some ideas of actions required to address the email, and I want it to be bullets points. Suggest ways to answer the email if the email is sensitive and urgent. And here, so I want to have bullet point. So when you create a prompt like that, you need to test it multiple times. Here, I create a quick prompt just to be able to see how it works. But if I would want to use this workflow, I will probably go back to it again. Now, very important, I need to say, here is the message sent by the parents. Okay, voila. So the sender, I'm going to add the sender name, the subject, I'm going to add the subject, and the contents of the text, I'm going to add it. So the sender, I'm going to find it here, is the sender name. The subject is here, and the content of the message is the text content here. So what it does here is the email that was identified as sent by a parent will be processed with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will use this information to be able to complete this prompt here. Here, I'm going to add more token. The token is the complexity based on the complexity of the task and the length of the answer that you want to have. So for example, I'm going to add 1000 here, and I'm going to click on OK. So now what's going to happen here is ChatGPT here is going to process every email sent by parents. Now what I want to, the final action here is going to be to send this summary, etc., in the space, Google Space, and add a task. So I'm going to add. So I'm going to add now the Google Chat. So I have it here, and I'm going to inject a message into a room. So I need to use a connection here, and here the message. So that's the connection here is already created here. If you go in space and you look at the configuration of the space here, so app and integration, you're going to see webhook, and here you have the webhook that is listed here. So each space in Google Space can have many different webhook, and those webhooks can be used by Make or by other application like Make to inject message in the space or to do any other action that space authorize. So here I've already set up this key here. So the message is going to be I'm going to say message from parents, and I want this in bold. So I'm going to do this, and it will create some bold here. Message from parents, and voila. I'm going to write sender. I'm going to have subject, I'm going to have the summary and, for example, support. So the sender again is here. The subject is here. The summary and support is the content generated by ChatGPT, and I can find it here in choice, message, content. So here, the message will look a bit like this. And this one, I'm going to put this one in bold. Voilà. So the result will not be perfect because the prompt has not been tested, but it will allow us to see how it works. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Google task. So create a task. And the task, I'm going to put it in my list workshop, create a task, and the title of the task will be, for example, remember to answer the email sent by, and I'm going to put the name here. So this is not necessarily a very efficient task here, but again, is to see how different applications can be connected together. So here my workflow has been created, and I'm going to test it. So to test it here, I'm going to choose where to start. I want to start with all emails. So it's going to look at all the email in the inbox, and we're going to see if it works. Action. Voilà, so now it's processing the first email. As you can see, the number one, it's identified as a parent email, and our ChatGPT is doing the work, send a message in the space, send a task. Now he's looking at the second email that was again identified as a parent email. Same thing. The third email was identified as a parent email. And same thing. ChatGPT is creating the summary, etc. And the last email was a faculty email. So we can see here, 3 email has been processed as parent email. 1 email has been processed as a faculty email. So it's 4 message, and there is 5 initially. So there is 1 that has not been through because it was not a parent email or faculty email. So let's see in our inbox here. Okay, so we're going to refresh our email. And now we can see that 1 faculty is identified, 3 parents identified. So there, it's well organized. So if I will click on my tag here, I will be able to see all the emails sent by parents. We can be very useful. We can see here the 3 tasks. Remember to answer, and I made a spelling mistake, but remember to answer the email sent by Karen Gray, sent by Michael Sanders, sent by Jessica Thompson. So we have the tasks that are created here. So you can imagine here, by creating a workflow a bit more complex, you can create some real tags that are very meaningful. And then let's go to the space here. So I'm going to go to the chat here, and I'm going to go to the space here. And now here, you can see that what was generated by ChatGPT with the email sent by Jessica, email summary, action required, ways to respond, the one sent by Michael Sanders. And the last one was quite important because it was about a bullying situation here. And you can see here the different action here that ChatGPT offer you to do. Voilà. So this is the process here that allow us to get the results of this here, and the task, and the label that were put rightfully here. Voilà. So you can use the knowledge in some ways content in this specific workflow to create any other workflow connected to any other application. Now, based on the application, the way that you set up those different applications will be different, of course, but it's using this same process here that you can use make and automatize some of your process connecting your application and your data. I hope that you found this video useful. Thank you.